And I'm proud to have appointed the first woman as a service chief in the history of this country. Clap for that.
It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce Mr. and Mrs. Donald Trump.
Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country, and if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend
the
Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
You know what woke means? It means you're a lizard. Everything woke turns to shit.
Do not come.
I'm gonna come.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
Booster now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Booster coming in.
As I fight through the battle with the party of death, I take a look at our right and realize they're barely left.
Can we get serious now?
Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. But you have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never, ever, ever give up. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right. Because this moment is your moment, it belongs to you. America has always been the land of dreams because America is a nation of true believers. And it's why we proudly proclaim that we are one nation under God. The story of America is the story of an adventure that began with deep faith, big dreams, and humble beginnings. And we are going to make our country great again.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. How are you doing today? It is great to see you. I'm doing this new setup right now. It is June 17th, 2025 in the year of our Lord. How in the hell do we get this damn thing to align? 1 second. Move from the studio, and I see we have people are coming in. Iron Man, how you doing? Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast. Great to see you all. Okay, this is an interesting predicament. There we go. I'm not used to doing the production on my own. This is something new, and there's a lot to talk about. This is the second episode of FAFO. We got a lot to cover. We're going to cover the I guess, moron insurrection. This would be the right name. The last few days of the rioters, the No Kings Kaput protest that seemed to fizzle out over the weekend. Of course, you had a lot of lefties who were going crazy about it, saying it was the biggest thing that they ever had. And plus, President Trump reversed a decision that he had made last week, which I think is a very good indicator of where we're going. Tom Homan, the borders are, he laid something heavy on Crowder. Plus, we got Iran and Israel to talk about, and a whole lot more. So let's get cooking. Welcome to FAFO, where the truth hits back because freedom is non-negotiable. Blitzen is coming in. Thank you, Blitzen. He gifted 5 George the Giant Slayer memberships. Go thank Blitzen. What a gentleman. Now let me bring in the two. Ron and Mark. Mitchell will be here every week, but Ron couldn't make it today, so we have a very special guest. It's Verbal Riot. He's going to be joining Mark and myself. How you doing, gentlemen? I think you're muted. There you go,
George.
Yep. Great to see y'all here. So it's been crazy. It is seems like things are ratcheting up, but I figured we'd deal with the good news first before we actually get into.
Is there good news? Like I'm
There's actually good news. We're alive. We're breathing. Okay, you go. You kick it.
We have like World War III in the background, right? I mean, like, is there good news happening right now?
Well, I don't think it's World War, but we'll talk about it. I don't think it's World War III. I think someone's about to get shellacked, and then we'll walk out of there. But I don't think boots are going on the ground. But what were you going to say, Mark, before we jump into that?
I mean, there's a lot of good news. Democrat immolation, this thing with the riots, we have numbers back. It's ridiculous. And I mean, it's just so patently obvious that when you stand up for a 20% position and try and make it your national platform for presidency, it's going to fail, and we have proof. So we can talk about that.
Hell yeah. I think the good news that I wanted to start with is the fact that you had the way that the country reacted this last weekend to the whole, no kings. Man, there was a few people here and there. At least in Texas, it wasn't that big. I think there was 2,000 or 3,000, maybe 4,000 in Houston, but Houston's liberal as hell. Sugar Land had almost nobody. All the little towns, nobody. Everywhere else, it just kind of petered out. I think after that senator was knocked off by a Democrat, I think that pretty much put the kibosh on it. But how was it with you this weekend, Verbal, in California? Did it peter off, get bigger, better?
It about the same, but at this, I didn't really go out all that much, so I don't really know what was happening on the streets. I actually thought about doing it, doing the man on the street thing and hopping out there, but it was kind of chaos, man. I mean, my thing is I've learned in my 50 years that whenever there is any kind of protest in LA anyway, gunfire is sure to come out soon enough. So I'm like, yeah, I'm probably going to skip this one.
You're like, I'm just going to stay away. I'm not going to do the man on the street.
And here's the thing, and what people don't realize is and I see a lot of conservative reporters out there trying to do their thing and get a story, but they don't realize that the cops don't know what you are. They just see you as a protester. So you could be out there doing the right thing, and a cop will mistake you for one of the protesters, or I won't even say protester. That's too nice of a word.
Rioter.
Yeah, a rioter. And you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, there was a reporter, I think it was from the Gateway Pundit, who took one it was either in the chest, in the arm, or in the foot. It's like, you had 2 or 3 reports. They're like, we have credentials. Oh, wow. They kept showing them. But yeah, they're not going to beef about it. They said they showed their press credentials, but come on, in that kind of a chaos.
But I think what a lot of people don't realize, man, there's a network out here right now where, these people have a system in place, right? They have codes they give each other. Like they have a designated group who are scoping out ICE agents, finding out where they're staying, which hotels they're staying at. They're following them basically. They're tailing the ICE agents, and when they figure out where the ICE agents are going, they then send the code out to let other people know, hey, here's where we are. let's do something about it, right? Also alerting illegals that, hey, ICE is coming this way, so you guys need to hide. Or it's a really
intricate,
just backwards, really. But yeah, it's
it shouldn't be.
backwards.
It shouldn't be that way. I think what was funny is what I found the first piece of good news was the fact. Do you remember when Schwarzenegger came out during COVID when he was like "F America" or "F your freedom"? That big. You remember that? It was like grotesque. Yeah. Well, it's funny how he went out on the hyperventilating hyenas of The View, and he gave a totally different message. I was very shocked.
Self, you are an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country. Yeah. Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant. I'm so proud and happy that I was embraced by the American people like that. I mean, imagine I came over here with the age of 21 with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created, all of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world. And
I think that was great what he did. It's a complete reversal from what it was in 2020 and 2021. But they were trying to bait him. They were trying to bait him the whole time to get him to, side with the agitators, with the rioters. Come on, you were governor. But he stuck to the line. Like, no, I'm proud to be here, greatest country in the world. So
immigrants are against illegal immigration by far.
100%. What are the numbers on it? Because everywhere I look, that's what I hear.
I don't poll immigration. Like, are you an immigrant or not? Yes or no every night. So I don't have that, but I've seen other people's polling, and we have it by race. And Hispanic voters poll to the right of white voters on every single immigration thing now. Mass deportations, militarizing the border. I mean, it's just so obvious that the Democrats very naively thought that this was going to be some kind of racial demographic super play that they could do, and it blew up in their face because of their own ridiculous incompetence. You gotta love it.
Yeah, I do love it for the factors, but it's like they're rudderless, and children are running around having a temper tantrum.
But also it's because the Democrats don't understand that they don't have the kind of chokehold on the Latin community that they have on the Black community, right? It's like with the Black community, they just expect us to be lockstep with them in everything they do, right? And then when there's Black Republicans, or when there's a dissenting voice, we're the Uncle Toms, we're the outliers, we're the coons, right? We're all that stuff. But with the Latin community, they've never been lockstep with the Democrats. In fact, I think a lot of Latinos are more conservative than anything else. And then you're talking about the ones who did it the right way, who came here and did the legal immigration. They're completely against the illegal immigration. So, I mean, I think they overplayed their hand, the Democrats, about, who's involved in this. And I feel like everything we saw for the past, I guess, week and a half is just theater. It's theater. It's a performance.
Performance. That's a good way to put it. It's the same thing that the UK. I've been working on a video for this 2 or 3 weeks. The way the UK is being impacted by a lot of labor's policies and woke policies. And what I've discovered is from where you had the museum at Stratford-upon-Avon where Shakespeare was born, right? They want to decolonize Shakespeare. I was talking to Verbal earlier. I was like, they want to decolonize Shakespeare because they're like holding up this British man as a genius to the world. This genius writer is an act, they said, of white supremacy.
Of course they do.
And I was like, why? I mean, there are in about 50 countries around the world where they are running Shakespeare all year round. Tokyo, Midsummer's Night's Dream runs for a month. You go to Okinawa. I mean, like everywhere, except in the place where it was born, they want to reject it. And what you find is a lot of people feeling guilty. They feel guilty. You have a lot of white liberals in gated communities, kind of like these Camden Karens who feel like, oh my God, we did horrible things. Now we got to make up for it. I'm like, why don't you help other countries to bring out their cultural artists? Tell their story.
Don't you love the ridiculousness of they probably think that they're supposed to love Shakespeare because it's, high-minded, elitist, like entertainment, and then the juxtaposition of like, no, now you have to completely hate them because of white colonization or something.
I know.
This is crazy because I actually went out to the protest, the No Kings protest by me.
Okay.
And you can tell the way they set up specifically about my protest that they look back on the past longingly, and it's over racial tensions. I think that they really loved the way that they used COVID mass formation to whip up the BLM riots. And the one closest to me was Asbury Park, New Jersey. This is a community. They picked Atkins and Springwood, center of an African-American community in Asbury Park, that burned down in 1970. The exact street corner the fire started in the riots that happened in 1970 was the exact street corner they picked for this thing. And it was all white boomer Karens, every single one of them. It was literally a white boomer hate fest. I saw one black person there. It was the cop trying to marshal these people. It looked like an art festival. There were pop tents and food trucks and a big stage for people. There was a lot of people there, 1,000 people. But it's like the Obama Action Network community organizer, get out the boomers. And that's what it is. And that's what it was. And it lasted a half hour. And then they got dumped on. And they all scattered like cockroaches. It was the most ridiculous thing. And I don't think they have any optics to show for it. They, it's good on them. They spent 50, 100 million, whatever it was, to have their biggest protest in history. And nobody's talking about it now.
But that's good. But have you ever thought of how so many suburban women went from, kind of like moms to Maoist weapons? I mean, how fast that it happened. It's like I was thinking about it the other day. Did it start just with Prosecco at PTA meetings, or I mean, literally, or was it like, let's have some Chardonnay and we'll start with a Pinterest code? It's like they went from the school board to the church to a husband who's probably toxic, and the next thing you know, it's like, okay, while America slept, Karen got radicalized. But I find it odd that's what I saw at every one of the No King protests that I was monitoring over the weekend. Just a lot of, I would say, 55 and over white couples.
Yeah. Most of the men looked like they were dragged there,
pretty much
overtly or subvertly. And I don't know, like, I think this is a really big problem. I think the mentally infirm have been weaponized against America. And it's not just, I'm not pointing my finger exactly at that demographic. It's a problem with younger people. We just did mental health polling. 23% of all Americans said that they've been diagnosed with a mental health condition. It was over 30% for people under 40. That's horrifying. That, like, how are we supposed to have people form families? And probably with the non-diagnosed, you're up to half. And over 20% say they're taking medication. It was over 30%. And it was over 40% of 18 to 39-year-old liberals said that they had a mental condition. So, and then with the older women, it's the MSNBC, it's the View, and they believe that stuff without any objective thinking. It's dangerous.
Dangerous. I mean, they take it in like gospel. I have this clip of this one guy, right? They had a booth to deal with your Trump-induced anxiety disorder.
God.
We were just talking about it this morning. No! Don't! Fat boy! Fat! No!
Like, no humility, no shame, nothing, just it's very odd the way that people have internalized President Trump and how he lives in their head rent free. Just he didn't have to do anything.
Like, who is that guy? A pastor, a teacher, a town councilman, like, and we're probably paying his Social Security check. And it's so perverse.
It's scary. The mental health, I think when they started shutting down the asylums, obviously they were abused at one point in time, but when we stop putting people away, we see them. A lot of them are homeless people. A lot of them now are voters.
Yeah.
But I think there was another bright light was I was watching how many soldiers were sending in clips of themselves. And this one I really love.
Hey, I don't know who need to hear this. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people be talking shit about America. Hey, if you don't like America, go to another country, bitch. I love this country. I'll protect this bitch.
I do like it. It's just straightforward. Like, you don't like it, love America or leave it. Period. I mean, you can't ask for better than that. Straight up, straightforward, and that was it.
But that's the thing, though, right? These people who complain and bitch, they will never leave, man. They will never leave. Give them the money to go, and they won't go. You see what I'm saying? Like, these people, this is all performance for them, man. This is a way for them to get attention. That's all this is. Especially, God damn it, these celebrities piss me off more than anybody, man. You had that one Latin pop artist, Camila Corbello, or whatever her name is. She said some shit this weekend about how, I don't want to see my neighbors getting, rounded up by ICE. I'm like, you live in Beverly Hills in a gated community. None of those people getting rounded up are your neighbors. You know what I mean? None of them are your neighbors.
Housekeepers, maybe.
You wouldn't live next to those people getting deported.
Right. How many times? Like, what if we remember when, I think it was DeSantis, when he shipped a whole busload up to the Hamptons? You remember how fast they got them out of there?
Yeah.
What happened? Like, what was it? 5 days and they were gone? Like, hey, what are you doing here? It's like, what do you mean? You want it? You believe in sanctuary cities? He's just helping you a little bit. Just take a few. No.
You think Mark Ruffalo was living next to people getting deported? No.
I will tell you my favorite video though of the weekend. I have shared this with uncle, aunts, girls, for anybody I could think of. My favorite one was of the Broward County Sheriff. If you haven't seen that, it is a thing of beauty, of joy, just so you can feel. I wish every sheriff in the country did this, because you know what? We wouldn't need, people could go protest, but you would have no violence, because this guy had balls. Straight up, based as it gets.
I'm gonna break it down for you. All right.
Oh yeah.
Somebody wants to know what I mean by turn violent. All right. This is what I mean. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail.
Brevard, sorry.
If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop.
Well, but think that message, though, is a deterring factor. I mean, if you tell people that this is what's going to happen in this county, how many of them are going to pull crap seriously?
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
They're going to go protest, and that's it.
This is the whole point of why society is grinding to a halt with the effeminization of literally everything. Does everybody in America have to be like that? No. But people in law and order, people running companies, people like... And I don't know, the way I went through the system, my age, there were still like people like that, scout leaders and gym teachers. That's what men in America used to be, and it's completely gone. And when you see this, you're like, oh, wait, this is kind of probably a good thing if our law enforcement people are like that. It's
absolutely. But they were supported by what you just said, by the men in America, the ones who go, look, I'm a father, or I want to be a father. I'm a member of the community. I stand up. I stay when it's hard. I don't vanish when the bills stack up. I'm going to raise lions, not leeches. They were for the country, for their community. They didn't back down. They didn't buckle. They were men. Today, they're teaching, boys how to braid their girlfriend's hair. And then they want to wonder why they don't get sex. They're going to go get a transition. Shit, I ain't getting it over here. I mean, it's crazy how they have feminized these boys. They've destroyed an entire generation. And we end up where they're sitting here at a protest talking about, you're on stolen land. I'm like, oh no, we conquered it in the Mexican-American War. It's called the Treaty of Hidalgo. Plus we paid for it. Anyway, it's nuts. So I think that was a lot of great news. And to wrap up the...
but I guess my question is, what's the end game here, right? Like they're
for
obviously...
which?
Huh?
For which? For the rioting?
I mean, just for all of the showboating, right? What is the end game, right? It's not going to stop ICE from doing their job.
No.
Right? It's not going to change Trump's mind.
Nope.
Right? And I'm not saying you shouldn't protest, because again, that's your right to do it. But honestly, at this point, the temperature is so hot, man, that people are running people over with their cars because they're tired of it, right? Because my thing is this: I'm not rounding up people, right? So why are you blocking me from getting to where I need to go, right? Especially if I'm in an emergency situation and you're some blue-haired, trust fund baby who has time to do whatever they want. You're blocking my car, if I run you over, right? Who's in the wrong here? So again, what's the end game, right? To fuck with regular Americans who have nothing to do with this?
I think this is where our first topic of the night is going to start colliding in with the second one. I think what you saw between the rioting and what now, I'm going to share two more clips. One is going to be from the FBI, and they're talking about how they're going to investigate who funded everything. Because it's been estimated by Data Republican and others that this whole thing cost around $2 to $3 billion for a week. That's not a little bit of money. You're talking billions of dollars, masks, body armor, all over the country, posters, printing, flags, shirts. That's a ton of money. They had in Seattle an important bus after bus after bus, right? Rolling in, dropping off people, dropping off, picking up, taking them to California, just dropping off everywhere. That's organization. And the way you stop it is, look, I believe in protesting. It drives me crazy. I admit it. It's one of the things I can't stand in the country. But it's your right under the Constitution. Just don't block highways. Don't be violent. Do like what the hippies did. Get on the damn side. Raise your little flag. Say your little speech. And go away. But I agree. Other than that, blocking highways. How many people there were going to the ER for anything? How many people were going for who are going for dialysis? Chemo, kid dying. I mean, you don't know. Blocking that is the most selfish act people can do. And they're like, whoa, protests are supposed to make you uncomfortable. They're not supposed to kill people. They're supposed to raise awareness. So I think Tom Homan, though, kind of like answered your question. So where I think this is going, I think this is a red and green alliance between the Marxists, like we touched upon a little bit last week, with a lot of the Islamic jihadist movement. I think there's a connection there. And with the globalists who are funding it, basically to destabilize and destroy Western culture. I think you'd agree, Mark. It's all about destroying Western society.
I mean, I can't prove you wrong. What I can tell you is that, again, the Democrats are a really big problem. They lost an election because they didn't stand for anything and they had a bad candidate. Since that election, they have worse candidates and they stand for even less. In fact, they stand for the wrong things. So the introspection process that they should have gone through in a democratic republic has not happened. And so what you could say cynically, well, maybe they're just doing that thing where they have to get to the top of the power structure by being super liberal and appealing to their radical core. Okay. And then they'll try and moderate as they get close to the election. But I don't think that's going to work anymore with an environment where we have Twitter and stuff. You're going to see supercuts of Gavin Newsom, with two different policies. It's just not going to work. And so the fact that they're all still doubling down in it is the wildest thing. They know it's a political loser, and not a single one of them jumped ship. You're starting to see Bill Maher's of the world like playing around with calling them out. And what happens to them, that gets lapped up by the right. But they are still a very unified front. And the only thing I can come up with is that they think that their team still is winning or will win. And so that's scary.
They also believe that.
Yeah.
Right. But I think it's because they think they have the moral high ground, or they have convinced themselves they have the moral. Because how do you keep how do you keep a group unified when you got your ass literally handed to you in a humiliating manner. It's not, because typically what would people do when we would lose an election? You go back and you reflect. Why did we lose? Where did we go wrong? I haven't seen
but the thing
anything
they're
like
being
that.
disingenuous about is Obama. He deported people too.
He was
more so than any other president, right?
Yeah. Deporter
So where were all the
they're in a
protests?
purity spiral is the problem. That's it.
That's a good one.
You're right about moral authority. They've created the oppression Olympics, the purity spiral, and that's, I guess, just what Marxists do. But they don't think about the past. They think about like right now. And I don't think Newsom's a true believer. I really don't. I think he knows his core. I think he knows if I go out and virtue signal on this, I'll get attention. But it has messed his numbers up. I just ran him, and he can't even get to 60% among Democrats now. That's how bad this is. Like, he's got under 40% favorability. He's toast. He's not going to be a presidential contender unless the planets align. And so he's the most salient now. He's getting attention, but it completely ruined his political career. And so I just don't know where they're going unless it's like maybe there is foreign backing. Maybe there are other things. Maybe there's – but for this protest, it was very much they spent $2 billion. I guess that sounds actually probably on but it was an anti-demoralization op because they've been trying to get these protests to go and they just haven't taken off. And this is finally, it looks like they threw enough money. They got a Walt in the air. And, you know, that person probably has ties to China. I would imagine $20 billion to spend on this. I'm sure some of it was taxpayer money, but anti-demoralization op. So they can try and say, well, look, you know, we're all still together resisting Trump, but it's not enough for him. It's not going to work anymore.
But let's call it really, truly what it is. It's not pure propaganda. It's a revolution. They're playing this. The left is playing, and I don't think it's the left only. That's why I say I don't. Yeah. I think this is, they have allied with the globalists, with with some of the GOP rhinos. You know what I'm talking about, with some of the big business lobbyists who don't believe in an America first. This is a color revolution. Divide, conquer, foment, keep the pressure on, protest, like wait till they react, overreact, react, and it's just back and forth until you can topple Trump. And I don't think it's going to happen. It's the same way that this week, well, yesterday, was the 10-year anniversary of when President Trump came down the escalator, the golden escalator. And I found this video. Someone put up a great, like a flashback of all the journalists who made fun of him. Just watch him.
Oh, yeah.
And it was beautiful.
I am officially running for president of the United States.
There are no words. How do you even have a straight face right now? There are no words to describe what just happened.
Ed Rendell, do you have any doubt that this is anything more than a carnival show?
And you watch that speech, you all laugh about it. And I'm sitting here laughing out loud, you know, for the entire, front part of the show here as we're talking about it.
I mean, it was a rambling mess of a speech. That said, it was very entertaining. I was howling.
He's got gumudgeons of money. He's got a lot of recognition, and he just became the 12th presidential candidate for the Republican Party. Is it typical Donald Trump fashion, or is it hilarity run amok?
This morning, some Republicans say they're worried Trump will turn the campaign into a circus.
Party leaders worried.
Anyway, so that goes on and on and on. They just keep making, and they're like, he'll never win. It's never going to happen. This is a joke. Who are you kidding?
Yeah.
They destroy it. But you know what? Half of them still have jobs. That's what drives me crazy. Like, you make a call like that and you mock him, like you put your reputation on the line. This will never happen. He will never be president. Come on. How do you stick around? Yep.
Yeah.
When he did the thing, at least I was president, that big, what was that, Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, he did a mic drop. Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let me check these super chats if we have any questions. Eric K for $2. A reminder, Verbal Riot did not riot at a Diddy party. Well,
I did not do that.
He did not. It was somebody who looked like him, but it was not him. Goal Leader 2016 for $20, June 14, 1775. U.S. Army, 13th of October, 1775. Navy, 10. November 1775, 4th of July 1776. Our service members enabled our freedom by sacrifice. 250 years, one day to thank them. No king. How about a grateful nation? Hallelujah. How about a grateful nation? I love the parade. I watched it. I liked everybody I liked every way they went through. Though, again, you saw online, oh, it's raining. I guess God doesn't like you. I'm like, come on. Where's your patriotism? Put your politics aside. Just when was the last time we actually had a parade for the military? Before I was born? Like, I can't remember. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I did see Rand Paul bitching about it. $45 million for it. I'm like, come on. It's the 250th birthday. It's like, dude. Adam's aunt, member for 5 months. Loving what you're saying, George and team. Thank you. Love you too. We got Eric K again for $5. A Latina lady was trying to explain to the rioters that her family was killed. I saw that by illegal aliens. The guys beat the heck out of her. They did.
Geez.
They did. She was there, and she's like, I'm not afraid to be here now. I think it was 4 family members, she said. They're spitting on her, throwing things at her. She's like, I'm not afraid. What are you going to do? She was challenging them. All right, here's the other piece of good news before we move on, which was Tom Homan spoke with Crowder. This was beautiful. Because last week, President Trump had announced that he would be backing off, that ICE would not do any raids on farms, hotels, and restaurants. I didn't like that because I'm like, you can't have 2 different sets of laws. Either you're going to deport everybody or you're not going to deport him. What is this? But I've seen President Trump and Donald Trump before. He does a lot. I don't know if y'all agree. He does a lot of A/B testing. He'll test something. He wants to keep a coalition together of businesses plus MAGA. And I think when he does that, he throws things out there. See how the public reacts. Nope, you didn't like it? A few days later. That's why I like him. He actually interacts with the community. Oh, you didn't really like that? Cool. This isn't affecting national security on the level of, we're going to die tomorrow. I'm going to go back to the policy. And Homan was there to confirm it.
I want to ask you about one thing. Seems like there's a little maybe confusion out there, if you can help clarify, regarding ICE priorities, and specifically, I think you just answered it, but farms, hospitality businesses, because of something that President Trump posted on Truth. Moving forward, it sounds like no groups are going to be exempt from ICE raids, but you have priority on criminality.
Absolutely. No one's exempt. No one's given the pass. Yeah, you're going to knowingly hire an illegal alien. Don't worry about it. No, it's a violation of law. So it's like work sites, same thing. We'll prioritize sanctuary cities. We'll prioritize first of those who are involved in sex trafficking or forced labor, those who are undercutting the U.S. competition. People need to understand this, and I mean this.
Yeah.
No one hires an illegal alien on the goodness they're hired. They hire them because they work them harder, pay them less, and undercut the competition who has U.S. citizen employees. I'll tell the story, true story. I put a roof in my house a few years ago. I had to call 6 different companies before I got a company that guaranteed me a legal workforce, right? So this father and son showed up, and they wanted to see if they can just do a roof repair because they couldn't do a whole roof. And I said, no, the whole roof needs to be replaced. And this father told me, he goes, you know what? I had my own company, had 20 U.S. citizen employees. I paid him about $20 an hour to get on the roof. But I couldn't win a bid because all these other companies were putting illegal aliens on the roof for like $5, $7 an hour. Because I couldn't win a bid. So I had to lay off every one of my U.S. citizen employees. And I mean, my son are just doing roof repairs.
Right.
That happens 1,000 times a day across this country. So, so worksite enforcement operations are going to continue. That's a tenet of what we do. And like I said, in sanctuary cities, it's necessary. If we can't get the bad guy in the jail, we'll get him at a worksite. We'll get him in the community. So worksite enforcement operations are going to be tenfold increased this year. You're going to see it like you've never seen it before.
Well, so there you have it. And so that was today. I thought it was beautiful. And I think the proof, that old myth where, every time anybody would bring up we need to deport people, everybody, especially the Democratic Party, would come out. And again, a lot of Republicans would say, well, who's going to do the jobs that Americans won't do? Who's going to work on the farm? You saw what I'm talking about, Mark. Then what happened to that?
That's the biggest myth ever, and I hate it. It's the worst logic. It's they won't do the job. Well, yeah, you're not paying what the market will bear. You're circumventing the market. You've destroyed the market. And if you have no illegal labor, then you have to pay the going rate, and the market will set that, period. And if the price of your product goes up, it goes up, but it also goes up for everybody. I'm really happy he came out and did it. I wonder if he was directed or not. But the best part about it is Brooke Rollins kind of leaned into this, or at least people, I think, accused her of being the source.
Okay.
She got torched all over Twitter, just mercilessly torched, because it is a contradiction. You can't, I mean, you can't just say, no, Tyson, no Cargill, you get off scot-free, because the problem is that the reason we got in this situation is because Republicans do love their slave labor. They love illegal aliens. They will not put E-Verify in place. They will not crack down. They were part of the big cause of this border crisis. And maybe they support Trump now, but any chance you give them the optics of like, no, they're the ones, that creates a rift between MAGA and Republicans, and they need to be together right now, and they're not. So I hope this brings them all together. But then I will acknowledge there's a little bit of a perverse incentive here for, even though Holman to say that he will do workforce raids, that's good.
Yeah.
But they probably should be focusing on sanctuary blue cities and states.
Yeah, I think that's what they're
probably, you know.
I agree, but you see what happened in Nebraska with that meat packing plant?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's all these companies that for years have been accused, massive amounts. They get raided all the time and fined. But I'm just saying, if you hit, and also I'm a believer in self-deportations. I think that that's what's going to work this out, which is why I think we need things like E-Verify, which everybody supports. Everybody supports E-Verify. We can do it tomorrow, and it would solve this issue. But hit the illegals in the blue states first, and you juice the census.
Oh, I got what you're going. I got what you. But the Republicans in Congress will never push this because I think Johnson's too weak. I think it's what we have 22 states that have E-Verify. Congress needed to pass this. We don't need to just have
22.
It's not. Do you like that, Dante? Do you like them going to doing raids like across the board? If you're going to deport, you're going to deport everybody. If you're not, you're not, or you're more just for the criminals. Which side are you?
I mean, for me, look, man, it's harder for me to say because in California, look, it's wrong. Okay. I mean, it's wrong in a way of, you know, it is slave labor. They're literally paying these people purposely, you know, like 10 times lower than what they would pay any other citizen, right? So it is wrong. But at the same time, the problem with California is so much of our economy relies on them.
Okay.
Like a lot, you know, more than we're probably willing to admit. And it's the problem that we created. That's the problem, right? Like we created this problem. So now it's like, okay, now we're screwed, right? It's like, because if this does happen, if there are mass deportations, then we kind of painted ourselves into this weird corner now.
You know what would help you guys though? Selective tariffs on the same crops that California produces.
Interesting.
Yeah, that would help you get out of it, right?
I like that idea a lot.
Don't you think it's like a cheap bubble economy, like a cheap surf economy? I mean, it's been built up by certain industries, but this Nebraska meat packing plant got raided, I think it was a week and a half ago.
Well, let's not mistake anything though. This is slave labor.
It is.
It is. Like we have to admit that. I mean, the Democrats have to admit that.
But they refuse to. That's why Holman said, no one's hiring illegals out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it so they can pay 70% off.
This is like a hair away from like indentured servitude. Like this is what's happening here.
I did a YouTube video with Newsom in a Confederate outfit because let's be real, this is like he's arguing nationally about a states' rights issue about the representation of humans in Congress. Like that is literally what this is about, and that sounds a lot like 1860 to me. I'm just saying. Well,
Democratic Party did create the KKK. I mean,
but California also went to the extreme, and I don't have all the info on this, so I don't want to speak too much about it. But you know, there are people that they're trying to elect into office that are illegal immigrants.
Oh yeah,
here in California,
they did it in Minnesota. You saw that Minnesota state rep came out again 8 days ago, where she's like, "I'm illegal." She admitted it from the floor of the Minnesota Senate. I was like,
what? There's also analysis, and I forget the details. I looked at this analysis. They compared the increase in the influx of foreign-born Californians, presumably most of whom are legal, to the increase in the voter registration numbers in California, implying that a significant portion of the increase in California voter registration was all illegals registered through the motor voter program, and a significant portion implied are voting in our elections. And we all know that California's had a habit over the last couple cycles of magically picking up congressional seats from people that everybody thought was going to be a Republican seat.
It's crazy. If you could get rid of that, I think it's going to change the country. Again, that Nebraska meatpacking company, the CEO, the owner, flipped out because I think he had 75 employees and they took 63 or 67, somewhere around there. ICE deported some stuff. Yeah, like he basically they shut him down because they took everybody. Well, last week there was a line 3 blocks long. All Americans ready to fill that. They're willing to do the jobs. Americans will do those jobs. They just don't want to be paid slave wages.
Yeah.
Not difficult to figure out.
But see, but George, that's the problem though, is once you built this system in place, you know, where a company knows that they only have to give out a certain amount, now you're telling them they have to pay more. Everything falls apart now, right?
Right, but
because they should. Well, because they didn't budget for that, right? They didn't budget for the fact that they're going to have to pay people a living wage.
I know, but
I would prefer that the white collar criminals be the ones that we focus on, to be honest with you. I personally think every illegal alien is a criminal because they violated our laws. But the fact that massive entire industries can run with a nod and a wink, knowingly violating federal laws.
Right.
And not only that, you know, impacting our budget, like this impacts the tax burden. This impacts all of my kids and their ability to find this. You know, this would trickle up. It would raise wages. And the whole issue, the reason we have Trump is because of stagnating middle class wage. That's exactly why we're in this situation. And then it's Republicans who in this situation will appear to be cozy with these folks. And again, the Club for Growth, big business Republican types, you know, they're melting the phones up when this stuff came up. So we have to get them all out. And that's what Americans wanted.
Well, look at it. I believe now, before we move on to our last topic, I believe when I was looking at the numbers the other day, this is the first time since the 70s where we had a negative growth month in illegal immigration, where nobody came in. We sent more out than came in. I was like, I didn't know it had been that long. But they pretty much have shut everything down. It was done in a beautiful way. Now there's
going to be an economic impact. This is massively deflationary. There's no avoiding the fact that personal bankruptcies, if you look at the Google search trend, the search volume for personal bankruptcy versus corporate bankruptcy has bifurcated. Personal bankruptcies left and right. And Bernanke bucks sort of got us into this era where these big businesses can cozy up to government, leech off of the taxpayer, not be enforced, and just get away with, again, massive profiteering off of the back of taxpayers.
I wish we would hold them accountable. The one thing that I was upset about was that CEO was not arrested. The owner of the business was not arrested. Because I think if you're going to deport the people that he hired, you got to deport the asshole who hired him and broke America's law. He shouldn't get away with it scot-free. I don't think so. I think that's only
the SEC
fair.
should get involved in any of the public ones and go after them for material misrepresentation, violation of fiduciary duty, that kind of thing. Yeah,
100%. I think it's only fair. I mean, if we're going to say that the people who came here illegally, they're going to get deported back, then I think the people hiring them, they have to pay. I mean, I don't think they should just get away with it. I don't. That sends a bad message. I think that's how we get involved in this mess. Now we're going to move on to our last topic as we go right through, because at FAFO, we do it fast. You know, up around and find out. We have Iran and Israel. As I was telling Mark right before the show, Verbal, about an hour and a half before the show, an hour and a half, 2 hours before the show, I had gotten I had a family member reach out to me who informed me that we have Americans. This person was related to Mashabim Air Base in Israel. And basically that we're going to be striking tonight. We're going to be giving air support to the Israeli Air Force. And we're going to do some bunker buses. We're going to be dropping some bunker buses. But they said, we're not putting boots on the ground. We're going to go in, we're going to go out 2 days to a week and be done. What do you think?
We shouldn't be involved at all, but
okay. Mark, what do you think? You're muted. All right.
Mark, you're muted.
You're muted. Yeah.
Oh, such a boomer.
I was just I was checking if it was mine. I'm like, he's me. Yeah, no, you're muted. I was like,
well, I'll tell you what the numbers say, which I completely disagree with. But the neoconservative roots go deep. 57% of Americans support a U.S. raid, not just an Israeli raid, and 84% agree with the statement that Iran should never have a nuclear weapon. Now, I don't think Iran should have a nuclear weapon either, but I also don't think that we should get involved if we cannot, right? And I don't know. I think Trump is being a little chaotic, but you talked about it, Jordan. I think he's a intuitive leader. He makes decisions. He changes his mind if he gets new information. I think that's what he's doing right now. And I think he'll probably navigate this. And I think, if anything, it will probably be a public opinion winner. I'm just very trepidatious because I don't take anything at face value anymore. And I know he's getting super bad advice from some people. I know everything in the world is trying to pull us into this thing, including almost everybody in Washington, D.C. And so it just gives me heart palpitations thinking back to 2003. At the time, something that I actually supported, and I'm embarrassed and appalled at the fact.
You and me both.
Yeah. So
no, I know with you. I was there. WMDs. I'm like, go in, go get him. I got riled up. I was all for Bush. Yeah. I think I must have said it at least 30 times this last year. I will forever feel guilty for voting for Bush. But at the same time, it woke me up. And what woke me up was his second term. And it was Barack's first term when I started noticing that their policies were almost identical, but they were named differently. And I'm like, holy shit.
Can you imagine Janine Garofalo was right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's hard to believe. That's hard to believe.
I know. Screaming about Halliburton or whatever.
Yeah, I know. I can't stand to give her the win, but yeah. No, you have like Lindsay. Come on. Lindsay, who I think is owned by K Street. They got their hand up his ass. He's like a puppet. Half of them are there. They're wanting to feed the war machine. My take is this. Most presidents we've had are pure politicians, governors, senators. They're politicians. They're political animals. I support Trump. I don't support every decision Trump makes, but I think for me, he has earned to a degree my trust after the man took a bullet. I mean, when you take a bullet and you keep going when you don't have to. That's why I say he's not a politician who's like, you know what? I got to stay in this. I got to get my money so I can get my next job, so I can set up my nest. You know what I'm talking about. They don't give a damn about anything. But when Trump took that bullet and kept going, I was like, that took it to a whole new level. So I'm like, he's earned for me to wait and see. I trust him. I've seen him do kooky stuff, but it always seems to work out. He didn't start war in the first 4 years of his first term. I don't think he's going to start war now. I think what he wants to do is he's talked about this for 10 years. He doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear warhead. Whether they have it, they don't have it. I was reading, the media has tried to set him up today with, what is it, Caitlin, her name, over at CNN, when she asked him on Air Force One. You know what I'm talking about, where they were asking him about... what's her name? Caitlin, damn it. It's going to drive me crazy. Hold on.
Collins?
Yeah, it was Caitlin Collins, and she was asking about, Tulsi Gabbard. And Tulsi Gabbard had stated the fact that, Iran doesn't have any nuclear warheads. Except for the fact that Tulsi Gabbard came out a few hours later and was like, well, I'm glad that, CNN is still the same thing, misconstruing everything that I said in that committee. What she stated specifically is they don't have a nuclear warhead, but they have enough enriched uranium at a high enough rate where they can use it, and too much for any civilian use. They don't want them to have that. They don't trust them. Because at the end of the day, what you have in Iran currently, or the people who are running it, is an Airbnb for Hezbollah. That's pretty much it. So I think we're going to go in. I think we're going to use our bunker busters, lay Fardro low, and that'll be that. I don't think we're going boots on the ground. I don't care what Lindsey Graham or anybody else says. What do you think?
I'm very confident that we're not going to have boots on the ground based
me
on
too.
what I've heard from certain people. But I just think
You're worried.
that there's a situation where listen, Israel, I think, timed this thing. I really think they do. And it was unfortunate for America because the Democrats were in the middle of a massive and embarrassing self-immolation.
Right.
And Israel seems like it has goals. Don't know what they are. And
I think
don't
they're
know what's
golden.
going to play out with Iran. And it could be really ugly.
Mhm.
And I think that all of DC is going to want to lean into that. And I think our philosophy should be Israel, if you break it, you bought it. I think that's what our philosophy should be.
I completely agree. I'm tired of America being Israel's bitch. Like, why do we always have to fucking stick up for them when they do stupid shit, right? Like, here's the thing. If Israel had to fend for itself, they wouldn't be making the moves they're making right now. But they know that we're going to back them up. So they're willing to, like, take these crazy gambles, man. Like, I'm just tired of that shit.
I hear that, but in the 6-Day War, we didn't do anything for them, and they took care of Egypt, Syria. I mean, they took on 7 nations. There's been many times we haven't been there. I understand how we just went through 4 years of hell with Biden. The worst economy we ever had. Money's tight. Prices are going through the roof. We vote for a gentleman that promises not to get us into war. But he always said he didn't want Iran to have a nuke. Now, the question that I've been listening to everybody talk on social media, no one's answered. Why do we help Israel? Some people are like, it's the Jewish lobby. They own everybody, all that bullshit. If that was true, guess what? There would be peace and rainbows everywhere. They wouldn't have all this problem. I think the reason we do it is because it is the only democracy in the Middle East that actually represents any of America's interests. I think it's as simple as that. Besides religious symbolism and religious ties to Judaism and Christianity. I think that's really what it is. Now, I think Israel, what they want is regime change. That's what I believe. I don't think they just want to knock out the nuke. I think they want to topple the government. If they do that, I'm like, that's fine. Because this afternoon, you saw the son of the Shah of Iran come out. Let me see if I have it. Yep, I have it. The son of the Shah of Iran came out. Basically, it looks like he's ready to go back to the country. I wish we could poll there, Mark, like find out. Because I saw video clips of Iranians celebrating some of the attacks. I was stunned by it.
I won't claim to know what's going on there. All I know is it's super unpredictable, and these things have a habit of going south.
They do.
And this isn't a statement about Israel. This is a statement about Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. craves with every fiber of its being being involved. And it doesn't matter why. Some of them are obviously funded by AIPAC. Some of them aren't. Some of them have dual citizenship. Others don't. But I can tell you, just based on the voting pattern of the Ukraine support, that DC craves this thing, and we've already seen a whole lot of masks slip. So I'm very trepidatious.
But you know what? I think that's good. And I think Verbal will agree with me here. Don't you want to see everybody's true face?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay. So I think it's good. It helps us make decisions. If you go, okay, if you get 50 people on the right and 50 people on the left, and they all pull their masks down, they're like, we live for war, basically. I think Trump, again, ends up accomplishing what he always did before, unmasking people. He forces people to show their hands. I think that's a lesson we learned in the first term. That he gets people to show who they really are. Here is the son of the Shah. This was translated by AI. I'm just letting everybody know because it was in Farsi. I'm just going to play the first 30 seconds.
My compatriots, the Islamic Republic has reached its end and is falling. Like a frightened rat, Khamenei has gone underground and lost control of events. What has begun is irreversible. The future is bright, and together we will navigate this sharp turn in history. In these difficult days, my heart is with every defenseless citizen who has been harmed.
Okay, that's enough of that. I will tell you one. What do you think? What does your gut say? Well, because you talk to people, Mark, and you've done polling for a long time. Do you think after, 1979, all these years, do you think the people, just hypothetically, you think they would accept the Shah coming back, the son of the Shah, to rule? I know it's Iran. I'm just, by what you see, by a feel.
Yeah, there's just so many different variables, right? It's like, is that Israel's plan? Do they want to do that? Are they going to be involved? Are we going to, do we have CIA assets over there?
I have no idea.
Are we going to do a color revolution playbook? Is that guy getting into power in the best interest of the CIA, who's trying to protect democracy, whatever the hell that means? Like,
Yeah,
I just don't
trust
know.
him.
And it's like, we're taking a very large country and we are turning it on its head. And I hope it goes well. I really do. I hope everybody in Iran has more freedom and they're a lot less dangerous over there. And I hope that it doesn't take thousands of U.S. troop dead to get there.
Yeah, I don't think is going to happen, but I hear your worry. Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that it's kind of just too much of an unknown variable at this point.
All right. Well, I think this is going to be a good place to wrap up. I want to share one more thing, and then we are out of here. I think the thing that I'm not concerned about, again, is I just don't think Trump will take us into a full-scale war. That's my gut from watching.
Well, that's the hope, right? I mean, and honestly, I don't look. I'll agree with you on that only because I don't think Trump thinks war is good for business.
Yeah, I don't.
Right? Like Trump isn't Dick Cheney. He doesn't make his money from.
Yeah, no, he isn't. He is not. Again, he's not Lindsey Graham. He's not Dick Cheney. He's not Halliburton. Trump believes that a great economic policy is great national security. And war is not going to be a good thing for it. He doesn't want to have Bush's legacy. Come on. Does anybody remember Bush for anything else? No. Will they remember him for anything else?
No. A lot of domestic policy agenda items he wanted to do, didn't get to do any of them. And my understanding is that there's a lot of ill will behind the scenes, partly because that Bush didn't get to do some of the things that Donald Trump made part of his agenda. But it's a domestic policy agenda. It's about rebuilding America's future and restoring the American dream. And dalliances overseas aren't a part of that.
No, but we shall see what we'll have found out. This is what we will find out. This is what Iran dropped a little while ago, and then we'll be out of here. I think he was having some technical difficulties. I've been trying to keep the FAFOs to like an hour and 10 minutes. Short, sweet. We give updates, share our opinions, and then we're out of here.
Yep.
There you go, Verbal.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi's been weird ever since. No, really, ever since the protest started. I don't know what's going on, but
someone's probably hacked it. I'm not kidding you. You look at all this. Well, Iran put this up an hour ago. Again, I don't know if it's bluster, not bluster, but
what the hell is this?
It's no. They put it up. It's on their. Yeah, it's silly. They're like petting an atomic bomb. I think it's stupid. They put out a statement. I'm going to say one last thing. I will say that Israel's strike on Iran, we should take lessons from. I don't know if you researched it. The Mossad infiltrated Iran for months. Before their jets ever came, they had vans, buses, rental facilities that opened up were launching drones, taking out their missiles. And I'm saying we should take that into account for how China could do the same thing to us. Think about it, right?
I've been tweeting about that a lot. It's
Think about
horrifying.
it. We are a fully open country. Sorry, go ahead.
Somebody used the word preemptive warfare.
Yeah.
And we have a 5th generation warfare combatant who could very well be conducting preemptive ops on us right now.
Right.
And I don't know if we are watching that at all. Drone swarms, our grid going down, like sleeper cells.
We just saw it, Mark. We just saw Israel do it. They took all their missile batteries down in 4 hours.
That's
and
crazy.
we are a completely open country, meaning it's not like Israel where you have IDF on every corner where they're watching. We don't have that. There's nobody here. But every time, it's like there was supposed to be this Sharia community that was going to be open in Texas, and the AG, Ken Paxton, opened an investigation on it about all the rules they were breaking, the permits they didn't apply. And then I was thinking about how many Chinese backed, CCP-backed investors are there who are buying facilities near military bases. I mean, it's been in the press multiple times, Breitbart, Gateway Pundit, Daily Caller, and no one does anything about it. Verbal, it'll drive you nuts when you read it. It's like they come in, they're like, I'm going to buy 10,000 acres right next to that Air Force base. Oh, and I'm going to buy another 1,000 next to that Marine Corps. It's like, really? And they're like, it's a free country.
Wow.
So I think it's a lesson we need to learn from, because Israel just changed the game about warfare. All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to read these last 2 super chats and we're out of here. Cool. Eric K for $5. Army for the asked for permits for the 250th celebration parade and was approved under Biden in June 2024. It was approved. All righty. I know, but they don't ever mention that. They only want to attack Trump. Eric K for another $2. Elon's robots will take all the jobs. I don't know if I share this. I think Elon showed a piece of his character that he's been hiding for a while when he had that temper tantrum with Trump. You know, when he turned around, he said, maybe I will decommission the Dragon. Remember that?
Yep.
What would happen if one day he said, in 10 years, Starlink is supposed to be like in 1/3 of the planet? If he got angry and said, I'll flip Starlink off everybody, do what I want. I don't know.
Mars colonies will totally depend on his technology.
Right.
The robots that he wants to be everywhere could be, taking in everybody's information, learning all their daily habits.
It's a little dangerous.
So
it's a little dangerous. I like Elon, but that statement he made just twerked me the wrong way. And Eric K for another $5. Devil's advocate for the sake of the discussion. If we do not support Israel, it will embolden China to take Taiwan or maybe Japan. That's another good point.
If we get entangled with Iran, maybe it'll embolden China to take Taiwan when we're distracted. It's a tough one to game out what happens there.
I think people look at you and how you treat your allies, and I think we're just going to see over the next couple of days. But thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Mark, can you please tell everybody where they can find you and what you got coming up?
Rasmussen_poll. Monday, Wednesday, Friday we stream, usually 9 p.m. Eastern, but we're probably shifting to something summary soon for a couple months. I'm going to stream tomorrow at 9 p.m. We're going to laugh about Gavin Newsom, to be honest with you. So hope to see everybody there. Rasmussen_poll.
Wonderful. Verbal, what you got coming up?
Yeah, you guys can catch me at Verbal Riot on YouTube, Rumble, and X. I have VRL every Thursday, 6 p.m., except for last week when it was on a Monday, but you guys know. And yeah, that's it for me. I got some videos I dropped today. There's another one I'm dropping tomorrow. So just constantly working.
Yep, that's the way to go. Keep grinding. I dropped a Father's Day video on Sunday. YouTube doesn't like good news. So if you want, go check it out. It's on my channel. We'll be back here tomorrow at 3:30 with Slayer Unchained. We'll be Verbal and Tom from Midnight's Edge. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Thank you, Verbal, for filling in for Ron.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Thank you for everybody's support. Be blessed. Remember, we're fighters with one unbreakable rule. We never bow down. We never bend the knee. Always forward.